Hi, I'm Rich with insideHPC. We're here at the GPU Technology Conference in Silicon Valley, and today we're at the NVIDIA booth with Marc Hamilton. Marc, you having a good show this week?
We're having a great show, and thanks, Rich, for inviting me to the interview.
Well, great. You know, Marc, I watched the keynote with Jensen this week, and the thing I wanted to ask you about is PRADA. What is this thing?
Well, you know, we always make so many great announcements at GTC, but one of the traditions Jensen has now started a few years ago is coming up with a new acronym to really make our messaging for the show very, very simple to remember. So PRADA stands for Programmable Acceleration, Multiple Domains, One Architecture. And that's really what the GPU has become.
It's not just HPC anymore, right?
You know, so many workloads are like HPC, and we love HPC more than ever. But again, it's about having now more and more workloads across the enterprise, not just off in that HPC data center.
Okay. Well, on that note, Jensen also talked about this new workstation centered around data science as a workload. What is that device?
Yeah, you know, workstations don't get a lot of press a lot of times, and when you think of a workstation, you think of that NVIDIA GPU and your traditional design apps. Someone at Disney animating a movie, someone at Boeing or Airbus working on an airplane design, or one of the car manufacturers' car design. But there's a new type of workstation, and it's differentiated not by a different GPU, but by different software. We're calling that the data science workstation. You know, it's based on our newest Quadro RTX 8000 or RTX 6000 cards. And, you know, in a very sort of standard cost workstation, you can get two RTX 8000s and 96 gigabytes of NVLink connected memory. And this just opens up a whole range of new data science type of processing that you can do on the workstation before you need to start up that large job on that back end on the cluster.
So that's at the desk side, but what about like things like the T4 that people are deploying out there in the hyperscale?
Yeah, so I think when T4 first came out last year, people thought, oh, it's a great GPU for inference. And in fact, it was designed with inference in mind, right? It has int 8, it has, of course, FP32, it even has int 4 for people that start experimenting with that. But as it turns out, right, PRADA, those multiple domains, there's so many things that the T4 is actually good at. Certainly for machine learning and data science with now, or CUDA-X AI and rapid software, that's going to be a scale-out problem. So going in and having an industry standard server with T4 in it, 2 T4s, 4 T4s, that can run any sort of application you want. It can, of course, run our virtual GPU, graphics accelerated VDI software. It, of course, does great in inference. It does good for video processing, data science, the new workload. It can also do single GPU training as well. So when you think about it, when I'm an enterprise and I want to build out GPU infrastructure, right? You don't want to go, you probably actually don't want to go fill your data center with these. We love it when our customers do, right? And you're going to have a few of these or a few DGX pods in your enterprise. When every employee is using GPUs, right, you want it in every server, right? And when you think about it, you take some of the high volume servers, HP's DL380, Dell's R740, those account for a huge amount of the volume of servers out there. And just making it super simple for all of our OEM partners, Salesforce, to sell T4 and all of those high volume servers that they sell day in, day out. It's going to be really good for our customers.
Making accelerated computing more ubiquitous, sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Marc, so the last thing I wanted to ask you about is Mellanox, and I know you guys have been doing a lot of stuff with them over the years. Can you describe what that relationship is that you plan to continue?
Well, you know, of course, it was really great to have Eyal, CEO of Mellanox, on stage with Jensen during the keynote. And of course, we talked a lot last week about the acquisition, which is big news. till that acquisition is complete, right, we continue to work with them as a partner. So if you step back 10 days, right, and think about all the great things that we've been doing with Mellanox. Now, of course, Mellanox is known by every HPC customer, right? We have 10 Mellanox EDR cards in this DGX2, right? And so our DGX pod scaling up with Mellanox, we're starting to continue to do that. Also, with these new data science workloads. Now, in the enterprise, they're typically running Ethernet, right? And so when you have those DL380, those R740 servers with T4s, they're probably going to be connected with Ethernet because that's what's in every enterprise today. And Jensen showed the statistics, right? Running Rocky, RDMA over converged Ethernet on a Mellanox adapter with a Mellanox, Cisco, or Arista switch provides nearly double the performance. So that software acceleration, right, of your Ethernet network is going to be very, very important in the future. And in a sense, right, HPC continue to build big clusters. In Ethernet, you're building that sort of east-west network traffic across the data center. And we're really looking forward to the Mellanox acquisition.
Well, great, Mark. Hey, thanks for sharing, and I hope you have a great show this week.